hot summer of 1518, a woman stepped into an empty street. Her name was Frau Troffea. The city of Strasbourg was quiet around her. There was no music. No one was with her. She simply began to dance. Her arms moved in strange ways. Her feet shuffled on the dusty ground. Her face was blank, like a doll's. She did not stop. She danced under the hot sun, alone in the silence. It was a chilling sight. The horror grew slowly. Within a week, she was not alone. One neighbor joined her strange dance, then another. Soon, more than 30 people were moving in the street. Their bodies jerked and twisted. They did not talk to each other. They did not stop to eat or drink. They just danced. They moved as if pulled by unseen strings. Their bodies were not their own anymore. They were like puppets in a terrible show. This was not a happy time. The world of 1518 was a grim place. Many people were poor and hungry. Sickness was a constant shadow that followed them. Every day was hard. They lived in fear. They feared God's anger. They feared the dark woods and the long nights. The air was thick with dread long before the first person started to dance. Their world was a prison of fear. The city leaders saw the dancers. They gathered the doctors to look. They were confused. They did not know what was happening, so they made a guess. A terrible guess. They said the dancers had hot blood. The sickness, they believed, was a fever in the body. Their cure was not medicine. It was something much more frightening. They said the people must dance the sickness away, so the leaders made the horror worse. They did not try to stop the dancers. They decided to help them. They cleared a big space in the town market for the strange dance to continue. They built a wooden stage. They wanted the people to dance until the fever was gone. They even hired musicians to play music. They thought loud drums and pipes would help. Imagine the scene, a stage full of people, their eyes empty, dancing without end, while cheerful music played. It was a nightmare made real. The city leaders made their choice. They built big wooden stages in the middle of the town squares. They hired drummers and pipe players to make loud music. They thought if the people danced even more, the sickness would get tired and leave. But the horror only grew. The dancers' feet turned red on the hard stone streets. They did not stop. Their shoes fell apart, but their bare feet kept moving. They grew so thin from not eating or drinking. Their bodies were screaming for rest. Bones started to break from the endless motion. Still, they danced. You could see the pain in their eyes, a deep terror, but something else, something inside them, would not let them stop. Soon, the city was a living nightmare. At the worst time, 400 people were dancing in the streets of Strasbourg. The dancing did not stop for the sun or the moon. The music played on and on, a terrible song for a dying city. Then, people started to fall. One by one, their bodies gave out. Their hearts just stopped beating from the stress. They would dance until they fell to the ground, and they would not get up again. The music kept playing over their silent bodies. The leaders saw the dead bodies. They knew they were wrong, so they tried something new. They stopped all the loud music. They took the dancers who were still moving and put them in wagons. They took them to a holy place, a special shrine. They hoped a saint could stop the curse. They prayed for help, but nothing worked. The dancing went on. The horror was too deep. It was not a curse that could be prayed away. This leaves a cold question that haunts us. Why? Why did they dance until they died? For a very long time, no one had an answer. People whispered that it was a dark curse from a witch. Others thought it was a strange poison in the water. One old story said the problem came from their food. It said a bad fungus grew on their rye bread. This fungus could make people see things that were not there. It could make their bodies move without their control, but even that does not feel right. It does not explain everything. It does not explain why they all danced the same way. The true reason is a shadow that is harder to see. It is a fear that lives not in the bread, but inside the mind. The most chilling truth was not a curse from the sky. It was not a poison in the water. The terror came from inside their own minds. It was a horror they made themselves. Think of a mind so full of fear. It is also full of hunger and great sadness. A mind pushed that far for that long can just break. The body is left to move on its own, a puppet pulled by strings of dread. Today, this is called a mass hysteria. It is a sickness of the mind, not the body. Their dread was so strong, it took control. It forced them to dance until they could not dance anymore. The terror was real because they believed it was. This kind of horror is contagious. It spreads like a whispered rumor in the dark. One person's broken mind can help break another person's mind too. Fear is a shadow that grows when it is shared. When people saw Frau Troffea dancing, the fear in their own hearts woke up. Her strange, endless dance spoke to their own deep dread. It was like a nightmare you could catch just by seeing it. Her terror became their terror. This old story feels far away. It is a ghost from a time we do not know, but its dark shadow is very long. It touches us even now in our safe and quiet world. We think our minds are strong. We think we are in control of our bodies, but this grim tale shows us a dark truth. A mind can be a fragile thing. When pushed by enough fear, enough stress, what could our own minds make our bodies do? Slowly, the dancing plague faded away. The music stopped. The survivors stood still, their bodies broken and tired. The streets of Strasbourg fell silent once more, but the memory of the terror did not go away. It stayed like a ghost in the town's story. History is not just a book of old facts. It is a house with many dark rooms, holding secrets we are afraid to see. And in one of those rooms, the sound of phantom feet still dances, a chilling reminder that the greatest horrors are the ones we carry inside ourselves. They are just waiting for the music to start. This channel unearths the chilling truths and forgotten terrors of our past, proving that some stories refuse to stay buried. The real horror may not have been in their moving feet. It may have been born in their minds. The people of Strasbourg were already living in a nightmare. They were hungry, sick, and filled with a deep, quiet dread. This constant fear can break a person. It can make the mind see things that are not there. It can make the body do things it does not want to do. A single spark of madness can light a fire in a whole crowd. Imagine the feeling inside their bodies. Their muscles screamed with pain. Their bones grew weak and sometimes broke. Yet they could not stop the dance. Their own legs would not obey them. This was the deepest terror of all. It was not a monster they could see or fight. The enemy was inside them. They were prisoners in their own skin, forced to watch their bodies destroy themselves. Today, we have a name for this kind of horror. It is called a mass psychogenic illness. This is a sickness that starts in the mind from great stress, but it becomes real. The pain is real. The terror is real. Just giving it a name does not make the story less scary. It only proves that the human mind can create its own monsters. It shows that a shared fear can become a physical plague, a curse made real by belief alone. This is a dark shadow that stretches from their time to ours. The same things that scare them still scare us. We fear sickness, hunger, and losing control. Their story is a chilling whisper about our own hidden fears. The dancing plague is a dark mirror. It shows how easily a society can fall into madness. It proves that the line between order and chaos is thin. One strange event can make it disappear. After weeks of horror, the dancing began to slow. People fell one by one, their bodies finally giving out. The streets of Strasbourg slowly became quiet again as the last dancer fell, but this was not a peaceful silence. It was the heavy, cold quiet of a graveyard. It was a silence filled with the ghosts of music and the echoes of tired screams. A silence that proves some nightmares are real.